All right, happy Friday, 7th graders. I'm going to go through the day 6 shared notes. We are going to be multiplying integers. So hopefully we remember our multiplication rules. When we multiply or divide integers with the same sign, think about it, with the same sign. So they're either both positive or they're both negative. The answer is positive. When we multiply with different signs, the answer is negative. So I want you to take a look first, looking at number 1, and I want you to first think if it'd be positive or negative. So I have a positive times a negative. So I have different signs, so my product will be negative. Then I'm thinking about 5 times 12. So hopefully we're thinking about those mental math facts. 5 times 12 is 60, so we have negative 60. Okay, number 2. We have a negative times a positive. So again, we have different signs. So I know my product to be negative. 9 times 3, take a minute and think to yourself, 27. If you think you understand this, you can pause the video and complete the first side of this page and then go back and check your work. All right, moving on to number 3. We have negative 3 times negative 12. So I'm multiplying two negatives. They're the same sign. So negative times a negative, we put them together, it becomes positive. So you don't have to write the positive. I'm just emphasizing. 3 times 12 is 36. So you would just need to write 36. And circle or box our answer. I'm going to go back and do that to my previous ones. Okay. Taking a look at number 4. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can do it step by step, and you can do the first two. Negative 5 times negative 4, so negative times negative is positive. 5 times 4 is 20. And then bring down that negative. Now I have positive times a negative, which will result in a negative because our signs are different. 20 times 3 is 60. So just like addition with multiplication, we can multiply in any order. So let's use that with number 5. So we can multiply these numbers in any order. They're all positive, so I know my product will be positive. And my brain wants to multiply the 20 times 5 first. Think about why I might want to do that. 20 times 5 is 100. Generally, multiplying by 100 is a lot easier than multiplying by other numbers. Then I have 100 times 3, 300. I'm going to show it the other way, though. Maybe you wanted to go in order. So you did 20 times 3, which is 60. Then you can think about 60 times 5, or 6 times 5, which is 30. Add a 0 to get 300. Either way, we come to the same product of 300. All right, number 6. Again, a similar idea. Think about which makes most sense to multiply first. I think those two make the most sense, and there's 2 reasons for that. So stop and think about those 2 reasons. First things first, those are our 2 negatives. We know a negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 25 is 100. I'm going to bring down that 7. Again, now I have 100 times 7, 700. All right. Okay, we got a few more on this page. Number 7, you're probably getting a little confused with that one. It looks a little different because we have variables. So just focus on the negative times a negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. So we would just put those together, just be positive xy. All we can do. Number 8. I see 2 negatives, but there's only one number. So think about what invisible number may be there. Hopefully you're thinking about that invisible 1. So now you're just thinking about negative 1 times negative 15. Negative times negative is a positive. 1 times any number is that number. All right, take a minute with number 9. Start doing that math. Negative 42,871 times 0 times 91. Hopefully you're multiplying those numbers in your head. Oh, wait. Hopefully you notice this. Any number times 0 is 0. No, I would never make you multiply all those numbers in your head. And then number 10. Again, you got another big number. But look what you're multiplying by. First thing I notice is I have negative times a negative. So negative times a negative will result in a positive. But also you're multiplying by 1. Any number times 1 is always what? Itself. So it's just positive. This long number making it positive. 1,435,912. All right. Nice job. Let's flip it over. So moving on to number 11. So again, feel free to pause the video and stop and try these by yourself, and then come back to the video and check your work. So identify if each statement is true or false. So looking at it right here, I'm just going to emphasize this. -2 times -10. Well, in my head, I want to do that math first. Negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, the product is positive. Is that true? Yes, because I'm multiplying two negatives. The product is negative. Well, it can't be positive and negative. 2 times 5 will produce the same product. So that's positive times positive, which will also be positive. 2 times -5 will produce the same result. Well, I only have one negative, so different sign, so that would result in a negative. So that is false. We are almost there. All right, last part right here, taking a look at number 12. So got to read these carefully. If the product of a negative and one of the integers is negative, then the other must be, okay, let's stop and break this down. We're saying the product is negative, so the answer is negative. So that means a negative times what would be a negative? Well, the signs have to be different in order for it to be negative. So that means if this one of the integers is negative, the other one must be positive. You have to have different signs. Okay, the next one. So now we have a positive product. So that means our signs must be the same. So if one of them is negative, then the other one also must be negative. They have to be the same. Okay, the next one. Now, again, we want the product to be negative. So if one of the integers is positive, in order for the answer to be negative, they have to have different signs. So if one of the numbers is positive, the other one must be negative. It's a lot of words here. Okay, the product of a negative and a negative is always what? So product of negative and negative. So we're saying negative and negative, the same sign. If you have the same sign, it's always positive. The next one, the product of a positive and a positive. Again, we have the same sign. It's always positive. And then we have the last one. Product of a negative and a positive. So we have two different signs. If we multiply two different signs, it's always negative. All right. You all did a wonderful job. At this point, you can move on to your independent sides. Do not forget to do the spiral side. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.